You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com. That's PJ4F.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. Tune in every week on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. Call in and give us your take anytime at 408-909-PJFF. We're brought to you this week by Creative Media Design Services. Check them out at creativemediamonterey.com. Hey, yo, it's time to pillage another podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Stapler. Yo, Che, talk to me.
What's good, Kenny? Man, I'm just living life over here. Feeling great, feeling good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing the same. Like I said, special shout out to our boys over at Creative Media Design. They hooked up the new logos, especially Tony and Steve. Those are the guys running the show over there. You can hook them up with any of your graphic design needs, web design. They do it real nice over there. Also, special shout out to the boys Silver and Black 666 for grabbing the new domain this week. PJ4F.com is short and sweet, just like the homie Raider Forever. Much love, jokes. Dude's built like a fire hydrant, and I mean that in a good way. So I know you're listening, Raider Forever. All love, fam.
All love.
But yeah, I mean, we're coming off this draft week. It seemed like a quick turnaround, right?
Yes, it did.
The big affair that's the NFL draft now used to be not a thing. Now it's primetime TV. So we're going to go over it. We're going to give you guys our draft grades for the rounds 1 through 7. We're going to try to cover as much as we can, and then we'll hit the break and we'll come back out, and we're going to break down the schedule that the NFL released just recently. If you thought last year was tough, well, this year just got a whole lot tougher. Or did it? Stay tuned to find out.
Right.
So, Che, I got to shoot it over to you, our draft guru. We were together for this. We did the show last week. We watched it together. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of surprises. In the end, I think we both feel pretty good about it. But let's talk about it. How do you grade this draft overall? And then we're going to get into it. We'll break it down. But what do you give this overall?
Overall, I got to give it a solid B, maybe B minus, just because there's some questions, right? We still have some questions about some guys. Conley, obviously, is the biggest one. We want to make sure that he's on the field, but there's a lot of upside there, right? There's a lot of upside, and it feels like a steal if he is there. So, yeah, B minus is my grade.
I'm with you. I'm in the B's there too. Like you said, question marks hovering around the team. We didn't get the immediate need that everyone felt we wanted was linebacker. As we covered last week, secondary, I think just as big of a need, overlooked for some reason. Maybe not seen as much of an impact position, but the NFL moves and trends, and it's moving faster every season, and now we're in a passing league. So really, I got to say secondary, probably more valuable than linebacker. So in the end, I mean, I was happy as well. There's a couple names in the later rounds I was not expecting, which is why I give it a B minus. Maybe that's just me not knowing. I caught a lot of heat on the blog for the B minus, but you guys got to remember a B minus, not a D minus.
Exactly.
An A plus draft is a kind of draft where you get a franchise quarterback and a double all pro at 2 positions and a defensive player of the year. You know what? I think we actually did that a couple years ago. That's an A-plus draft, guys. That's where the bar is set. So I don't really think B-minus is really that far away. And if we were picking higher in the draft this year, I think there's a greater probability we would have got an A grade. But just being honest with it, and who knows? Maybe it turns into an A-plus at the end of the season. We don't know yet. Maybe it's an F+. Again, it can go either way. But I'm playing it safe at B-minus. So are you. We're being generous or favorable, I should say, not generous, but favorable.
Optimistic.
Yeah. Would you say last week one word to describe the NFL draft?
Surprising? What was the word I said?
Unpredictable.
That was the word.
And even after it happens, still very difficult to predict. So B minus. Be happy with that, Raider fan. Be good with that. So let's get started. I mean, the elephant in the room, Gary and Conley, we kind of touched on it a little bit last week. Not much has changed. He did comply to the DNA test. It did come out that they did have consensual sex after some of the witnesses said that he never touched her. Not sure what his stance was. But let's put that aside. Well, actually, let's not, because it's part of the draft pick. It's part of the grade, right?
Right.
So we got him at 24. He's a top 10 talent, regarded by some as the top corner in the draft, regarded by most as the second best corner in the draft, by very few as the third best. This is a cornerback. This is a draft that was deep in cornerbacks. So being the third best at worst is pretty good, right? If not great. So what do you give the Conley pick?
From a talent standpoint, if we're just looking at talent, we don't have any of the other issues, all the off the field issues, whatever. I think we could very easily give this an A.
Yeah.
Right. We can very easily give this an A, but because there is that looming uncertainty about him, we gotta give it a B. Right.
Yeah.
I think you can't go any other way with it.
And I think that's being optimistic. Maybe as fans we have a bias. But I mean, like we covered it all last week, the due diligence, all that. I have a good feeling about it. If they feel good, I feel good. I agree with the A assessment. I'd even go as far as saying A+. This guy has a type of talent where he can be as impactful, I think. I want to say Khalil Mack, and that's unfair, but of that type. I mean, in his position, he's going to hopefully emerge as a leader. If his play in college translates to the NFL, this guy's going to be breakout star.
Definitely.
Right? So at 24, you got to give that an A to an A+, no brainer. So I think you hit the nail right on the head. And we'll let it all play out. And while we're here and we're talking about the allegations and the stuff centering around him, one thing I wanted to talk about in the intro and I missed was my comments on Joe Mixon last week. I have to apologize. I spoke out of a position of ignorance. I do remember seeing the Joe Mixon video, and in the podcast, I was saying that there were allegations made on Twitter, and I must have got my story twisted because I did rewatch the video because it resurfaced, and I was like, oh, wow, he's the guy. So I completely blew it, and I'm going to own that. I did drop the ball on that. I was right in saying that they did meet, they did get together. They came to a place of understanding, if you can believe that or not. And they are out there doing outreach to the community. So I was right about that. And that's cool. If you can get there considering what happened, more power to you, but it doesn't erase what happened because there's video and there's no question, like it happened. Right. So I think he went to Cleveland or no, he went to Carolina. No, Jacksonville. Sorry, Jacksonville. I don't know. I'm probably wrong about that too, but I'll apologize for that next week. So again, I just want to say my apologies to Joe Mixon. So moving on to the second round, it is May 4th. So I got to say, May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Well, thank you. Tell me about Obi. What are your thoughts on this guy? I think low key, maybe not even low key, but a lot of people's favorite pick in this draft coming in the second round. So what are your thoughts on Obi?
Athletic freak, right? Dude jumps out the building. I don't know. He got all those sticks on the vertical jump.
And he looked mad about it too.
Yeah.
He was shaking his head. I'm like, dude, there was no more sticks left. What did you?
Exactly. 44-inch vertical, 141-inch broad jump.
You're the real MVP.
So the athleticism is there. The talent is there. He could become something real special for us. Yeah. And maybe even be a steal in the second round. But it all comes down to that mindset, right? Mm-hmm. How willing is he to put in the work and become what his body and his athleticism can allow him to be.
And so he's a big dude, right? He's a pretty big guy.
Yes.
What was his measurements?
6'4", 224 pounds.
Yikes. So this is a guy that can come down into the box.
Definitely.
On third down positions and stuff. So I know when the second round came and we picked him, I was excited, but we were still both kind of scratching our heads like, wow, no linebacker, right? But really looking around at what linebackers were there and kind of graded out at where we were, this was a better pick, right? This was kind of a no-brainer in hindsight, don't you think?
I think so, just because of what was left on the board. Mm-hmm. I know we were high on Zach Cunningham out of Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But I think from the athleticism standpoint, the upside to Obi was a lot higher, right? Than a Zach Cunningham. Yeah, he was great on tape, tackling machine, but what we were looking for is a guy that can stop the Kelseys of the world,
Yeah,
right? We got to deal with
again,
those big
yeah.
tight ends. We got to shut down the middle of the field, that passing game. And when you look at it, Obi seems like he has all the tools to become that person for us, you know. And I think we gained what we were looking for in a linebacker. We just found it in a safety.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that. This is the kind of guy that Al Davis would have drafted in the first round.
Definitely.
Right?
Right away. That's my guy.
And he falls to us at 48. So again, be happy about this pick. I give this pick a B plus, maybe an A minus. I think it was one of the best picks we could have made in the second round, if not the best pick. I mean, I think it is really the best pick going back and looking at everything. It doesn't feel the linebacker need, but it kind of does, and especially on downs where we were suffering. We still don't have that third down linebacker on the squad. And we may not get that third down linebacker in the squad, but Obi can step in and fill that position. And you still have Reggie Nelson there as a buffer. Yeah, I was hard on the guy last year, but if you had both of those dudes on the field with KJ at the same time, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at all. So, your secondary in the nickel could be looking like Smith, Amerson on the outside, Conley in the middle, depending on the matchups, KJ, Nelson in the back, and possibly Obi playing down in a middle linebacker, inside linebacker type position. And that, if I'm an opposing quarterback, that's scary to me.
Right.
You know?
I don't know if I would agree with Conley on the inside, just because I think he needs a little bit more work to fill in there.
Okay.
But I know that he had a little bit of trouble covering inside releases, crossing routes, and things of that nature.
Okay.
So it might be a little tough for him to start off there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'd feel more comfortable starting him outside and maybe bringing in Amerson. I don't know, but
I think wherever the small, speedy wide receiver lines up, that's where you're going to see Conley, right? The bigger possession guys, you're going to throw Smith or Amerson on that dude, and yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see. We'll see how personnel goes out, but I would like to see Conley be a starter, whether that's a starter in the nickel or in a two dime back formation. So let's move on to the third round. This was kind of the general all-around head scratcher. This is the one a lot of people are talking about. We take Vanderdoes, defensive tackle. Not the obvious pick right there from where we were sitting. I know I was rooting for Watkins, which some said that was maybe a little bit early in the third.
Right.
But if Watkins is early, isn't Vanderdoes a little early there? Or what's up with this guy?
I think he's definitely, from the standpoint of where everybody was, as a spectator on the outside looking in, it was definitely an early pick for him.
Yeah.
And then you look at his story. You look at him having the ACL, the torn ACL in his junior year, and then the output in his final year just wasn't there. It wasn't the same guy that came into UCLA early on. So there was a little bit of who's this guy? There wasn't a lot of hype around the guy.
Right.
But one thing that did start to come out and started to surface after he was picked by the Raiders is that he looked like a completely different person in the Senior Bowl.
And the Senior Bowl is maybe the highest level competition post bowl game, right? This is the last scrimmage a lot of these guys are going to get before entering the draft. This is really a make or break game for these dudes. They don't go home with a trophy per se, but it could mean the difference of several $1 million on their first paycheck.
Exactly.
This is like the only real live sort of audition they're going to get. I mean, they have the pro days and they have the combine, but that's different when you're playing between the lines. And this is what that is, right?
Right.
And we know that Reggie and staff has always been a big presence at the senior day. They're out there in full force. I know they really cherish that day, as do other NFL scouts. But Reggie takes it upon himself as a GM to be out there personally. And he's not the only one, but he's out there. So they must have seen something they liked in that game. And I haven't gone back and looked at the footage of that. But the one thing about Vanderdoes is they want a pass rushing DT. And we have pass rushers on the team. I'll go Mac Irvin, obviously. I'll even include Carl Joseph because I think he's going to get involved in blitz packages this season. And when you got a guy as fast now as Obi, I wouldn't be shocked to see him getting some gaps too.
Yeah, he's got to get in there.
So Vanderdoes is the guy that's going to create those gaps for the safety.
Definitely.
And for the linebacker, which we don't have a lot of speed there yet. I mean, Heaney, but I don't know, your toes curl up when I say Heaney's name. So there's some speed there in the middle of the field now. And so Vanderdoes can create those gaps. He can also push the pocket. He may not squirt through, no bromo, but he can push the pocket and flush quarterbacks out into the edge, which is where Mack and Irvin feast. And we talked about that last week. So it really comes down to this. He's a big dude. You know, it's where's he at now with that injury? Was he able to muster it up for just the Senior Bowl, or is he good? Is he in the clear? Really, is it Vanderdoes or Vanderdoesn't?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where we're talking about with the questions, as far as being able to give it a high rank or a high grade on the draft. There's a guy that you're not really sure what you're going to get. Is he fully recovered? Is he going to come back? Is he going to be that 5-star recruit that he was when he first came into college? Or are we going to get more of what we saw the last season, where he wasn't very productive at all?
I almost see him as a Grady Jackson.
Okay.
Big dude, can push guys back. Isn't always going to get to the QB, but he's going to be around him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
he's a strong dude.
Yeah.
We know that. He's a big dude, strong dude, takes on the double teams. So prior to the injury, rave reviews about the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's what we get, man. That's hopefully that he becomes something for us, and then we're not questioning that pick anymore, right?
Right.
Like,
and then he's Vander doing it.
He's doing it.
Instead of Vander not doing it.
Just Vander do it.
Just Vander do it. I doubt he's got a Nike sponsorship. He's probably sponsored by like Pro
Fila.
Wings or some Fila. He's got some nice Fila. I mess with Fila. Yeah. Oh, and the other pass rusher we didn't mention was Mario Edwards Jr., who might be back and hopefully stays healthy all season. That's a dude that's fast enough to pull stunts. Again, taking advantage of those gaps created by Vander doing it and doing it and doing it well. So that's the third round. Let's move quickly into the fourth, where we took our first offensive lineman. I didn't expect us to take a lineman this early, but we did. We took Sharp. We took a tackle, and tackle, though not a glaring deficiency in this team, it is the hole on the line. The only hole on the line is the right tackle spot. You saw Donald Penn go down and miss his first games of his NFL career last season. He's definitely not Mr. Glass, but you now know the guy is not invincible, and we do know he's on the downside of his career. And I'm not knocking Penn. The dude's a warrior, and he's come back, and we appreciate that. But the clock is ticking on Penn. So we start here in the fourth round getting some offensive line depth. Tell me what you know about Sharp. Should we be excited about it? What kind of grade do you give him?
From a personal standpoint, not knowing too much of him when he was drafted, I saw him as a C. He wasn't very high on many people's boards. But then you stop, you look at the guy, dude's massive. 6'6", 343. So he's built like a brick house.
Yeah.
If he gets his ish together, he's going to be able to do some damage in the run game. And if he's got the quick enough feet, he can do really well in the pass game too, because obviously he's got that length.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that he was a high school All-American in basketball. So maybe that translates with the footwork, right?
Double sport, like Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
Not the obvious pull there.
No.
But I got to keep everybody on their toes. Look it up. You probably didn't know that, folks. Danny Ainge. Oh, yeah.
All-star.
I still got my Danny Ainge 5s up in the closet. I've never worn them.
Danny Ainge had shoes?
No. I'm completely lying. Totally lying right now.
Yeah, you were shocking me, man. I'm a big basketball fan. I didn't know that.
The Ainge Airs? You didn't know about those? They're called Range 5s. Range, but it's spelled like Ainge with the R in front of it. It's crazy.
I have to cop those.
Completely off your radar. So Sharp, he's country strong. One thing we know about Reg is he likes big boys. He wants size over everything. Size and speed is a bonus, but when it comes down to the trenches, Reggie likes big guys. He's an old school personnel type dude. I know fast and athletic is a trend in the NFL, but big and strong never gets old, and it never stops working. You got another guy that's on that line, not very technical, but huge, is Denver Kirkland, right? So There's a lot of size at that tackle position now. I believe Kirkland even came in as a tight end on some games. You work on them hands, dude.
Goal line.
So I like the pick. I don't think it's outstanding. I'm going to give it a C+. I think that's fair for linemen. We said last week you could find a lineman in the dumpster in the NFL, and 3 years down the road, he's a Pro Bowler.
There you go.
So if they felt good enough about him in the 4th round, I'm going to trust the judgment and say that I like the pick. I know we needed a lineman. Again, I thought it was a little bit early there, but the dude is huge. And
you also got to look at the board. You got to think of it from Reggie's standpoint. What did he have on his board? What was already gone? Again, we're picking 24th.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the guy, then that's the guy, right? You can't fault him for that. So if he had to go to the next one on the board, then and I think that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you grade this? I mean, we didn't. This isn't a guy we were like boning up on before the draft, right?
Exactly.
This wasn't like a highlighter pick.
No.
So if you had to grade him now, kind of where we stand, what would you give him?
I give him a C.
Yeah.
I give him that average grade.
Yeah.
Right. And I wait to be impressed. Hopefully impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
C plus, middle of the road, wait for the plus minus. We didn't grade out Vanderdoes in the last round, but actually I give that pick a B minus. I actually don't think it's a terrible pick.
I don't think it's terrible either. I think a B minus is fair, especially if he pans out. If he pans out, he could be an A. He could be another steal for us, another big steal for us.
And I know a lot of these analysts out there are mere talking heads, just like we are. They've just been doing it a lot longer, and they have a more expensive wardrobe. And they wear far more makeup than we do. Although you are looking ravishing tonight, Che, if I must say.
Thank you very much.
But when you look around at the analysts, because I think some listeners might be like, really, B minus? That's really generous. If you look around at the analysts, they're actually really big on this dude.
They are.
Yeah.
Most of the ranks, most of the grades that I saw from analysts, they had B's all the way down the board for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So obviously they see what Reggie saw. They see the reasons why he felt these would be good picks at the place that he picked them.
Yeah. And I'm a huge NFL fan, and I do watch some college football, but not every Saturday. I got a girlfriend. She ain't really trying to live with that. I ain't really trying to argue with that.
No, you're not.
I get my Sundays. We're good.
There you go.
So, I apologize, Vanderdoes, if I did not watch all those games or any of those games. But yeah, you're a Raider now, so I feel good about it. B minus. It was a need. He's a big dude. Let's see how it pans out. Everything complements each other. So let's move on. Where are we at? We're in the 5th round now?
5th round.
Okay. And so in 5th round, we picked up Markel Lee, linebacker out of Wake Forest. Dude's, again, another big guy, right? Not the speedy linebacker. Definitely not the coverage linebacker. Where are you at with this pick? How did you feel about this? Again, not the obvious pick right here. Now you're in the 5th. There's not a lot of obvious picks left, but Markel Lee out of Wake Forest, not a big name school. So what's your feeling now? Looking back on it, we're doing some research on him, seeing some film on this guy. How do you feel about the middle linebacker pick?
Looking at him, I give him a C also, just because he's a little bit of an unknown. Mm-hmm. You didn't really hear too much. Like you, I don't follow college football that much during the regular season, right? We usually start to do our homework at the end of the season because that's when it really matters.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
you also have a girlfriend. That's what Jay's trying to tell you.
That's exactly what I'm telling you. That's not allowed, man. It's not allowed. I'm lucky that I get my Church of Raiders on Sunday. I get my religious belief in on that Sunday. So
don't call it luck, call it privilege. Because if you didn't get that, you wouldn't have a girlfriend. I know you. If she's not going to tolerate that, you're not going to tolerate her. And shout out to your lady. She's been to a few games with us.
Oh yeah, and
she can roll. So
yes, she can.
We're good. We're very good. Markel Lee, you gave him a C. I'm tempted to too. I'm just gonna give him a B minus. I just like the size. I knew we were gonna go with a speedy linebacker. I just knew we were not gonna go with the lightning fast dude. They were all gone. So we got one of the biggest, meanest dudes that were left, and he comes from a school whose mascot is the Demon Deacons.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
That fits in pretty well with us, right?
So I'm going to give you a couple extra grade points there. I'm going to bump you up into the B. I don't think Markel Lee is the answer at linebacker, but I think he's going to be a tool, a puzzle piece that fits in well in the run game. I think that's a running back that if they get through the line, not a dude they're going to want to run into.
Right.
6'3",
240. Yeah.
The wall just got
a solid dude.
A little bit higher.
It's a solid dude.
He's a solid guy.
Yeah.
So that was our 5th round. And I'm seeing B grades and C grades on him all around. But he comes with a lot of experience. I think that's probably the biggest upside besides his size. And he played 3 years as a starter in Wake Forest. So he's got a ton of game experience underneath him. They say that he's a smart kid. And really, if you don't have the speed in the NFL, but you have the brains, you can get there fast.
There you go. And we had a discussion prior to the draft talking about I wouldn't be mad if we got another Greg Beekert.
A Greg Beekert.
Right?
There you go.
So if this guy could be a Greg Beekert, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win for us.
I'm not mad at that.
Not mad at all.
So shout out Greg Beekert.
You're my boy.
54?
54.
54.
Wait. Yeah, 54.
Yeah.
54.
That's the number that Peyton Manning sees in his head every night when he goes to sleep. We all remember that game. So we traded out of the 6th round back into the 7th round, and I was listening to the press conference, and Reggie, they asked Reggie if he has a chance to get a cluster of players, is that something that he's willing to do? And he basically said yes. He says, when you get into the later rounds, there's not a lot of guys that stand out where you feel like you have to get this guy unless somebody sort of slipped to you. And we were kind of in that position. We had a lot of guys still on our board that I really liked and really wanted to get. And from where we were standing, we saw that they were going to fall back into the 7th. So we traded out, picked up a little extra ammunition, and we were really happy. We got every single guy that we wanted in the 7th. He said that in the later round, they got everybody they wanted there. We don't have to go over all 4 of these guys, but maybe pick out our favorite of the bunch. So I'm gonna defer to you. And out of these 4, Shalom Luani, Jillian Ware, Elijah Hood, and Trayvon Hester out of Toledo, who's the guy that you like the most out of this bunch?
I think we got to go with the obvious. I think we got to go with Elijah Hood.
He's great, right?
Big, thick back, strong back, bruiser. Somebody that's going to be able to spell Marshawn.
That's it.
And not get him injured, right? We want to make sure that he's fresh for playoffs. Mm-hmm. So if we got another dude that could take a few of those tough yardage runs,
yeah,
that's a win. That's a win for us.
I agree. He's a buffer, and he's a contingency plan.
Definitely.
You know, you can see this guy. I mean, if he's good enough to start, if he makes the cut, if he plays up to his size and what we think he could be, I can see this guy getting a lot of reps in the first half of the game and busting things open for Marshawn in the second half. Or in the contrary, if we got a big lead in the first half and Marshawn's plan A, Hood's rolling out there and eating up clock in the second half. We finally have some big backs. I mean, Latavius was big too. I just don't think he played as big as he was until really last year.
Right.
So now if we have to get conservative in a 4th quarter and hopefully not the 3rd, like we would shout out to Bill Musgrave. Right. If we have to do that in the 4th, we have 2 big bruisers, 2 big bodies, and Olawale's in there too. And these guys can take some punishment, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and just eat that clock up. And that roster, that little rotation just got a little bit deeper with Elijah Hood. He's got a cool name too, right?
Real cool. Yeah.
So Hood's your pick. I'm gonna go with Shalom Luani, or Shalom Luani. I was really sad in the offseason to see Trey Wick go. Special teams dude, not an offensive player, defensive player, right? The 2 teams that we talk about the most, but special teams, man, so important,
right? Really
huge in playoff games and tight games, often the deciding factor, especially bad weather games. I think our listener JFB pointed that out this last season. And I think Luani replaces Trey Wick.
I think so too. And from what most of the analysts say, he's
a gunner.
He's a gunner. He gets after it on the kickoffs, on all those special teams. So if he's able to do what he did in college, I think he could definitely replace Trey Wick.
And I like it too because really that's all we're asking from him. Not to minimize the safety position. The special teams position, but that's all you're asking for.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really difficult for him to disappoint. I hope that he makes the cut. And then just honorable mention where, again, the tackle position get a little bit deeper out of Alabama State. and a little bit more depth with Trayvon Hester on the defensive line. It's always good to have more bodies there. We actually have a lot of players on the defensive line. There's just not a lot of standout talent there. And so Hester, that pile gets a little bit deeper. The competition gets a little bit thicker. Hopefully the cream rises to the top. And by the time we start, we have a nice, solid, impactful rotation.
And, another thing about Hester, man, he did notch in 9.5 tackles for a loss.
Wow.
And he's a big boy, too. 6'2", 300 pounds.
Get out the way.
Yeah. Get out the way.
So that's our draft breakdown. Again, overall grade, we think we both agree around a B minus. Anything you want to say before we get out of here in the break?
No, man. I'm just glad that all the guessing is out of the way, right? And now we get to just get excited, get amped for this regular season to start, man. I can't wait to start looking at these teams that we're going to be playing here. Yeah. Right? Some of the obvious ones, some of the ones that maybe we don't play regularly.
Yeah, it's an exciting schedule. I think it's really showtime. So we're going to come back. We're going to break that down, and we're going to get up out of here. Again, shout out to creativemedia.com or creativemediamonterey.com. Even if you're not in the market for graphic design, my boy Tony is just an incredible artist. Go to the site and check out some of his work. If you're a Star Wars fan, you definitely want to check out his work. He's also a huge Raider fan. Some interesting pieces on there. Definitely worth a visit just to see it. Cool stuff over there. So again, creativemediamonterey.com. We're going to get out of here, and we'll be back on the other side and break down the schedule. Yeah, we out here. You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans, featuring fan-submitted articles and the most lively Raider Nation conversation on the internet. Follow us on Twitter @PillageJustForFun. That's @PillageJust4Fun. Also, tune in every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio.
What up, homeboys? It is Plunk for Hall of Fame. So, my prediction for our win-loss record for 2017 is a repeat of 12-4. But this time we will win the AFC West. My thoughts on Beast Mode are good thoughts. I think he is going to be very good for us. I think it was a smart move by Reggie. And I think he wants to prove it. That first of all, he's town business and that he's still the real deal. My favorite pick was Obi. And I also think that a lot of our guys, that are going to be second-year guys, Hauser, Ward, some of the others are going to really come on this year. I think our defense is going to be surprisingly good. Not the best defense, but a very, very credible defense. So go Raiders, put your pants, code black.
All right, and we're back. So not to pick out an old wound, but we are moving to Vegas. No, we're not going there. We still got a couple more years left in Oakland, and we're going out with the bang. Not only did we add Mr. Oakland himself, Marshawn Lynch, but we got 5 primetime games this year. We're going to be in the spotlight. And that doesn't even count the postseason because you already know what's going to happen. Right? Knock on particle board.
Is that what this is?
No, this is straight up plastic, homie. This is grade A. Nothing but the finest tables in my studio.
I'm going to reach over here to this desk.
There you go.
That seems like wood.
That's the real console right there. That's how real mahogany. My studio smells of mahogany and leather-bound books. All right, so let's get started here. I'm going to throw these at you. I know you know who we're playing. I know you're not completely fresh on the order, so I'm just going to get you off the cuff. Keep in mind, Che and I did this last season.
Yes, we did.
And Che did not pick every game correctly.
Nope. But
he did pick the overall record spot on.
I did.
And you had to kind of convince me to get there on 2 games.
Yeah, you wanted to go with me.
I wanted to.
You wanted to go with me.
I wanted to. And you did convince me. So let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
September 10th, 10 o'clock in the morning, on the road, because you know how the NFL likes to do us.
Yeah, dirty all the time.
The music capital of the world. We're facing off against the Tennessee Titans. We played the Titans last year. We should have handled them last year. It was a sloppy game.
Yeah.
We won. One of Reggie Nelson's highlight plays of the year came at the end of that game.
Right.
He put the lick out. Where do we stand against the Titans this year? They've had a pretty good offseason. They've gotten better. They're a good young team. I think Marcus Mariota is a wild card. He can hurt you or he can hurt himself, right?
Yes.
Typical young quarterback,
Yep.
but he's got talent. I'm not going to hate on him. I don't think you can take this dude for granted. W or an L?
I'm taking W on that, man. I know Tennessee is picked up some weapons for Mariota, so it's not an easy win by any means, but I definitely I can't go with a. Come on now, it's our first game, bro.
Yeah, this is game one.
Come on now, we're ready. We're going for this. I'm going dub on that. There's no way we're losing that.
This is definitely dub. We're getting the season rolling. We're going to start off with a bang. We got over our early game hump last year, and we beat Tennessee last year. We got a full offseason to prepare for these guys. It's not rocket science beating Tennessee. Like I said, they're a good team.
No,
But
I
it's
respect,
not rocket science.
Respect.
We should be able to go right over these guys' heads. We really should.
Without a doubt.
And I want to see.
And if we can't, there's something wrong. Let me just say that.
I want to see a 2-touchdown win in that game. But this is a game we should have won easier last year. This is a game we should win outright this year.
Right.
You know. So moving on, week 2, we got our first home game. It's a team, an out-of-conference team that I enjoy playing in Oakland. I've been to a lot of games against this team in Oakland. We seem to play them there often. You know, it just seems to happen. We have some history with this team. I'm talking about the New York Jets. The history I'm talking about is the Heidi game. They mention it ad nauseum every time we play. The Jets, wow. They just never get over the hump. And here they are right back in a slump. This is an easy win, right, Che?
This is an easy win. There's no other way of looking at it. Do they even have a quarterback?
Do they even have a head coach? I don't even know what's going on over there.
I know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. That's the problem. There's no way we're dropping this. This is a blowout.
I heard they changed their logo to the Junior Mints wrapper. It's the same color scheme. They get a little more money off the back end, and it kind of helps out with fans not showing up to the games. You know what I mean? And to be honest, nobody really notices. It's been the Junior Mints logo for the last 3 seasons. I just thought I'd bring it up now.
It's true. This is true.
So the NFL New York Junior Mints squaring off against the Oakland Raiders. That's an easy win. We don't really got to say anything more about that. I'm not even going to bother breaking down a Jets game. And you know what? When the Jets game comes, we're not going to break it down either. We're just going to take a week off.
That's it.
I'm just kidding.
No.
We'll break it down when it comes, but not now. Not now. Week 3, September 24th, back on the road. It's the first game of a doubleheader on the road, or a back-to-back roadie, I should say, not a doubleheader. That'd be crazy, NFL doubleheader. Should do that. Should have an NFL Survivor Series. You just keep playing all weekend. Last teams remain. That's like a good XFL concept or something maybe. Anyways, I'm rambling. September 24th, on the road. This is our first nationally televised game. It's against the Redskins, getting a primetime game against the Raiders. Check them out, right?
Right.
You like that? The Redskins is another talented team that just can't seem to get out of their own way. I think this is a team, it's just a weird kind of feel. This is a team that could step up and bite us, but I'm going to take another W, a third in a row. I know it's on the road, but we have the benefit of it being a later game. And I think really inferior competition against the Redskins. It's going to be probably the first true test for our secondary. I think Kirk Cousins is a smart quarterback, right? He's a gamer. Yeah. He's going to make things happen. I'm going to mark this down as a W, which feels weird because I'm like, wow, it's the third W in a row. Risky business, right?
Definitely.
Anything can happen in the NFL. You call this game an upset? How do you call this game?
I don't call this an upset. I can't call this an upset.
So number
because the upset would be them beating us. Okay, let's not make any let's not go wrong there. That would be an upset. If they beat us, that's the upset, not the other way around.
And so that's what I'm asking you. So another W.
Another W.
We're in lockstep.
Another
That's
W.
3-0 right now to start the season.
It might be close. It might be high scoring, man. You know, we don't know how the secondary is going to play.
Yeah.
We still have yet to see. Hopefully by then we've already built some confidence in Conley and hopefully Obi's in there as well. And then maybe we might be speaking a little bit differently about this game. Maybe we're like, oh, we're shutting these dudes down.
Yeah.
But I think right now, from this standpoint, high-scoring game, but we got Carr on our side.
Yeah, we
And
do.
that's all you need.
This could turn into like another New Orleans Saints game, right?
There you go.
I mean, I'm not comparing Cousins to Breeze or anything, but I think this is the first true test for our secondary, like I said, and like you just kind of touched on, maybe the first true test for some of our rookies in this game.
Right.
So, yeah, this could be a wild one. It's on prime time, which means anything can happen. And NBC's hoping for a good one because there's a lot of sleepers last year on Sunday Night Football. Are they going to go color rush again on Sunday night?
And I think they were trying to get that out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's
Because people
done, huh?
I think the Redskins were actually fighting the color rush. They were saying they're not going to use that crap anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look what they're working with.
Yeah.
You know?
Hot mustard.
Yeah. Are you going to go Dookie Brown or hot mustard? Like,
That's an eyesore, man.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look. So we're going to go 3-0, start the season. And then moving on, we're still on the road. And we're moving from D.C. all the way across the country. And doesn't get any easier because we're going to play the Denver Broncos in Denver. If I got to be optimistic, it's in October. It's not in December. So that's a bonus. This game is not in prime time. This will be a 1 o'clock game because it is still in this, not the Pacific time zone, but, Western Conference. So Denver Broncos, wow, we handled them last year. But you can't say they didn't compete last year. Well, we beat them early on, right? We beat them at home. On the road, different story, different game last year.
Different roster.
Different
for us,
roster,
right?
different
At the most important
circumstances.
position. It was a different roster for us.
Yeah.
We didn't have Carr out there. So they should have beaten us in that sense. I don't know. This is a tough one because my heart says we got to go dub on it.
Yeah.
But being realistic, being a realistic Raider fan, not someone that just allows fandom to get the better of them. This could possibly be a loss. This could be our first loss of the season, just because it's an away game and we got the two. We're coming off of a road trip. We got that 2 back-to-back, and I think last year they kind of surprised us in their ability to win some of those games because I think we picked some against them on some of those games as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough game, and we already know what they got on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the Broncos are always going to pose a challenge to us, kind of no matter what their personnel it is. Again, it's a conference game, a division rival, one of the biggest rivals in the NFL. I have this down as an L too. Now we won back-to-back roadies last year, but we're not playing Jacksonville and then Tampa Bay this year. And
there you go.
And that's what we had last year. And if you remember that Tampa Bay game, if it wasn't for Winston sort of killing himself in that game,
Right.
We lose that game.
Right.
There was a couple easy touchdown bombs that could have happened, and he was just off the mark.
He was short on him.
He was short. So, Denver obviously don't even have a talent like Winston at quarterback, but definitely have the defense. And so I'm going to say we got to lose at some point, right?
Right.
We don't have to, but we probably will.
We can go 16-0.
So first quarter of the season, we could go 16-0. Well, look what happened to the Patriots.
Yeah, let's not go 16-0 and lose the Super Bowl. I'm not with that.
Yeah, I kind of get superstitious when teams get on winning streaks. I don't like it. Maybe that's PTSD as a Warriors fan. I don't know. But yeah, I have the Broncos down as an L. We're finishing the first quarter of the season 3-1 with 3 road trips. You can't be mad at that, right?
Right.
So we're starting the next quarter of the season, October 8th. Again, not the bye week yet. 1 o'clock game. We get the Baltimore Ravens at home. This is a game I have marked as a W. The Ravens play us tough every time we play them, but it seems so often we play them in Baltimore.
Right.
And we actually get them at home this year. I like the Coliseum in October. It's a great atmosphere. And I think we just overpower Baltimore. We were too much for them last year. Was it last year that we played them?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
And I don't really see. I I don't see a loss here against Baltimore
I
at
don't see it
home.
either. I think we get that win. We called it last year. We called the win in Baltimore last year. Well, actually, I think we had that down as a loss
We had that down as a loss because it was such a far road game.
because of that, right? And we actually won that game.
We actually won that.
So I'm not going against them this year, especially not at home. So
Yeah.
we got to get that dub at home. And like you said, the Coliseum's going to be rocking. Hopefully, me and you will be there.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Right? Pushing us to victory. Yeah.
This guy goes in at games. You never heard of Raiders until you heard my man Shay say it. Yeah, I say the Ravens is a win. Again, we're going to break down these games in more detail, but you don't want to hear us go in on 16 different games. But I think getting them at home, I think having a couple bruisers now at running back also helps us out against Baltimore.
Definitely.
So the next week, we actually now get a few home games in a row. We're going to get 3 in a row. And so a brief respite from all the travel. So the next home game, the second of the 3, is against the Whale Vaginas, or I should say the LA Chargers. I wanted to say San Diego Chargers, but dang, they're not in San Diego anymore.
Not, man.
So strange.
That's weird.
Wow. Well, it doesn't change the thing for when we go down there, and we'll get to that. But they're coming to us, so it really doesn't change a thing for them either.
They got 2 road games against us.
Yeah. So as they always do, and they always will, no matter what. Even when we move to Vegas,
It's going to be a road game.
it's going to be the same. It's a shorter trip, just as many Raider fans. Chargers, Philip Crimea Rivers. I don't think there's a team he hates more than the Oakland Raiders.
But I don't think there's a team that he respects more also. I think he has a lot of respect for us, man. Especially now with what we've been putting together.
Oh, and he should.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why we lose this game. I know Phillip Rivers is dangerous, but we seem to have the Chargers number now.
We do.
And what they're going to be playing in front. Well, this is a home game. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yo, unless they have LT coming through out that fucking,
LT ain't walking through that door.
if you walking out that locker room no more, bro.
Show me your lightning bolt.
There you go.
All right, let's move on from the Chargers, because we moved on from them a long time ago, to be honest with you. October 19th, inching ever so closely to that Raider holiday, which is Halloween. We got our next primetime game, and this one's at home, and this one's against the Kansas City Chiefs. So last year we played them on primetime in Kansas City in December. So it goes back the other way. Hopefully we got a healthy Derek Carr with a good finger, and a healthy Michael Crabtree with a good finger for all that matters, because I think that got overlooked last year.
Right.
The Chiefs, man. So, possibly coming off a win there, 2 wins in a row, Ravens, Chargers, here comes the Chiefs. This is a team that's had Oakland's number for years now and definitely has Derek Carr's numbers. He just seems to be rattled in games against Kansas City. And that's no knock on them. They have a great squad. They have a great defense. They have some dynamic playmakers over there. The only thing that really seems to hold them back is Alex Smith, but he's not really held back by us.
Right.
However, now we got a bolstered secondary. We're close to halfway. We're halfway through the season at this point. Well, just shy. We're game 7. You got to expect these rookies are in there now, at least Conley and Obi.
Definitely.
Are they the difference makers in this game?
I think they can be. But it's all dependent on how fast they get schooled up, right? Because as unexplosive or unspectacular as Alex Smith is, he is a veteran.
Yeah.
So he does know his way around the football field, and he will be able to take advantage of a guy that's not fully prepared. Yeah.
Alex Smith isn't a guy that creates a lot of opportunities, but he can't take advantage of a lot of them. So I said going into last year that I wanted to see Derek Carr making more plays at the line. And then we saw that. We do know he was going to the line with packages. So then at the end of the season, I said I wanted to see Derek Carr making his own plays at the line of scrimmage and doing his own checkdowns and adjustments and doing his own hot routes, which he does a little bit of all that already. But again, emerging more into a more cerebral Peyton Manning type dude, which we know he has the talent to be.
Right.
The other thing I said he needed to do to get to the next level was beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go all in and say that we beat the Kansas City Chiefs in this first primetime game. It's a chance for us to make a giant statement. It's going to be, again, the middle of the season. Hopefully we're in the buzz. Where do we have ourselves now? 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. People are going to be talking about us. Playoff talk's already going to start buzzing, and they're going to be looking at this game going, the team that wins this game could decide home field advantage.
Yep.
Right, for the AFC West.
Yep.
That's going to be the conversation going into this, no doubt. So we're going to seize the day, and we're going to win this game, and we're going to move on to 6-1.
We're winning this game.
Does that sit well with you?
It sits really well with me. We can't lose this. We can't lose to these guys no more, man.
No.
Come on now.
No.
This is it. It's like you say, we should have had home field last year.
Yeah.
And because we couldn't get over the hump against these guys, we didn't get that home field. That's not happening again this year. This is a dub.
If we lose to Kansas City this year, I'm going to paint a life-size, very detailed portrait of Alex Smith on my wall. I'm going to plow my fist through it.
I'll paint it for you, man. How about that?
Okay.
I'll paint it. It'll be realistic.
My man Shay gets down on the murals, by the way. But you know what? You spend too much time on your murals, so I'm not going to do that to you because I don't want you standing in front of Alex Smith for that long. But you can paint over it when we're done.
There you go.
All right. We're inching closer to the bye week. It's October 29th. It's a morning game. We're on the road again. This is another back-to-back roadie. We have 3 of them this year. First game is against the Buffalo Bills. I have this game down as a loss. I do. I don't think Buffalo's a great team. But for some reason, they always make things difficult for us.
Right.
We don't always lose. And I know I'm talking about rosters that aren't even here anymore, players that don't exist. But for some reason, history in the NFL just has this weird kind of chemistry about it. It just hangs around. It's like certain intangibles about matchups and teams. Even when the personnel change is over, the games have similar characteristic to them. I think if you were to play New Orleans in 5 years, it's still going to be a shootout. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So Buffalo, again, here we go on the road. We're 6-1. We're ripping off victories. I think we run into another loss right here. It's going to be a shocker. And I think we lose to Buffalo. And this is going to make sense when I get to the next pick. But I think this is an upset. I think Buffalo takes us out right here. Go ahead and disagree with me. I'm okay with that. But where's your gut at on this? What do you think?
It's a tough call. Again, back-to-back roads. Like you said, Buffalo does give us trouble, man. Even if they don't look that spectacular against other teams, somehow, some way, they're in the game with us. But I can't go. Nah, I'm going dub.
Going W.
I'm going dub. I'm gonna take the risk. You know.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go against you on that one.
So this is where the road splits, ladies and
This is where
gentlemen.
I'm splitting right here. I'm going dub. I can't go lost against the Bills.
So I got us at 6-2. Che Raiders got us at 7-1 right here against Buffalo. And then we got our next primetime game. Again, on the road. Again, on the East Coast. Thankfully, it's not a short week. We're going to be playing on Sunday. And we're not coming off the primetime, so that's good. The week prior to that, though... No, we're playing Thursday the week prior to that. So we're actually set up pretty well here. So we're playing Miami. Again, I'm not really sure how Miami gets a primetime game, but they're another team that gives us fits.
Yeah.
They're the team that got Dennis Allen fired. Well, they're one of the teams. But they happen to be the last team. And we left that dude in the United Kingdom. But I think we win this game. Yeah. And that's why the Buffalo game makes sense to me. I think we get upset by Buffalo. I think we finally get over the hump and we dispatch the Dolphins. Again, another team with defensive talent. This is a team that can pop you in the mouth, right? They're not a high-flying team, but they're a team that always seems to finish middle of the pack. And with that record comes upsets. And I think we're not one of them this year. Mm-hmm. I think we hand them an L. Where are you at on this game? Again, prime time. Dude, we can't go out to Miami on prime time. No.
Maybe I'm sounding a little too optimistic to all y'all Raider fans out there, but I'm going another dub. Yes.
Well, you're going. You're talking about the 11-5 2017 Raiders. I mean, going into the season, yeah. I don't think you're being too optimistic, right?
Right.
We're talking about. I mean, it seems surreal, right? Our team being as good as it is. Go ahead, say it loud. We got to win.
We get a dub.
All right.
So get a dub. Miami, that's a dub.
You're at 8-1. I'm not 7-2. I'm not mad at you. Bye week. Week 10. I'm a big fan of the mid-season, late-season bye weeks.
Right.
I hate the third week bye week. We seem to avoid that quite often. So as tough as the NFL is on us, they've been pretty favorable with the scheduling of the bye week. Yeah. I like the week 10 bye right here.
Recently. Let's say recently, because there's been a couple of years, not that long ago, where they gave us a bye week within the first 4 games of the season, and then now we're struggling all the way down the end. But
yeah, it's a long haul at that point. Also, this coming off the back-to-back roadie and the primetime game, it's a great time to have a bye week going into the last stretch, and this last stretch is a doozy. This might be the toughest season finishing schedules I've seen in a long time, not just for the Raiders, but for any team in general.
Right.
So we come back in November, great football weather, right? We're right in the middle of it. And we go on the road for a home game in Mexico City against the New England Patriots. I'm really don't know how to pick this game because last year we were against the Houston Texans, obviously inferior to the Patriots. It's not a terrible team, formidable. Again, another team that can come up and smack you in the mouth.
Right.
Middle of the pack type team. And both teams are struggling in that atmosphere. I got to give us a little bit of an edge because we were there last year.
We've been there, done it, right?
I don't even know what to say. Where do you go with this game? I know what you want to say, but I'm waiting to hear what you're really going to say.
Right. I'm going L on this game. Mm-hmm. Not because I don't think we can't hang with the Patriots. Not because I don't think we will beat them eventually. But this is going to be the first matchup, I think, of this season with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. You heard it here first, folks. We'll see them in the playoffs.
We will see them again.
We'll see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so I'm going L here, but there's a win in it also because we're going to pick up a lot. We're going to realize we can hang with these dudes.
Yeah.
And the next time we see them, it's on. Yeah.
I think this game's an automatic L just because we're going to Mexico City again for a home game. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I have this marked down as an L2. But I'm gonna hold out optimistic. I mean, I'd be happy to be surprised. I'm sure we all would. I don't know if there's a mistake on the schedule that I'm looking at, but they have this as a 125 game. It's not a primetime game in Mexico City. So I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or if that's not locked in.
That doesn't sound right. That sounds like
yeah. And I'm on Raiders.com. So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on the phones or hit me up on the blog, pj4f.com. But let us know. I thought this was locked and set in stone that we're playing in Mexico City, which would lead me to believe that this is on, I think, NFL Network or NBC. I don't remember where it was.
Would it be a Sunday night game?
Yeah, Sunday night game, NBC, right? That's where we were last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But we'll leave that where it is and we'll come back to it. November 26th. Just past Thanksgiving. We're not playing on Thanksgiving this year, which I'm glad. I like to watch football on Thanksgiving, but when the Raiders are playing, it just makes things really sort of interesting in the household. I like to just enjoy my turkey in peace and quiet and not really be stressed out if you've ever seen me on game day. So here we are. We get the Broncos again. We actually get to play them at home this time in November. I like this game. I think this is a win. I think we beat them at home. We saw it last year. We ran it down their throats 10 plays in a row. Now we got Marshawn Lynch in the same offensive line. So I really like our chances in this game. I think this is a W. We split with the Broncos this year. I don't see us getting swept.
Yeah.
Agree?
I agree completely.
Okay, so where are we at right now? So we at the bye. We'll pick it up at the end. We'll tally it at the end. Let's move forward. December 3rd, we're getting into the last month of the regular season. We've got the New York Giants at home. Thankfully, we're not playing them in New York. A lot of people have the Giants penciled in as really pushing the Cowboys this year.
Yeah.
Again, they're one of those teams that can hurt you. They're a good team that seems to get in their own way a lot of the times.
Right.
But I like this game at home. I think we match up well against the Giants, and I think this is another W.
Yeah. I'm gonna go dub too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go dub too. They got some guys that can hurt you. Mm-hmm. But I think we get this dub.
Yeah.
especially coming off the loss.
Yeah.
Right, we're calling L against the Patriots. We're gonna come out aggressive. I think we can get on whoever's next. Yeah, that's a dub.
That's a W for sure. Then we go on the road. We were talking earlier off the air. I said that we got to play the Chiefs on the road earlier in the season this year, not December. I was wrong. I was thinking of the Broncos. We're playing the Chiefs again in December. This game's not at night. It's an early morning game. We're playing against Kansas City Chiefs. We had them beating us. We had us beating them during our home game. Where do you have them at in this game?
Wait, that was an away game, right? The first game that we called?
The first game we called was Kansas City at home.
Kansas
We
City.
called that a W. So this is going to be on the road in Kansas City in December, 10 o'clock in the morning our time.
Okay.
How do you call this game?
I called dub.
Yeah? You're saying a sweep of the KC Chiefs?
I said we got to get them back. They swept us.
Yeah.
I hope that's a consensus in the locker room. I hope that's what we're feeling inside, right? I hope Derek Carr's like, this ain't going down again.
Yeah.
Let's get him back.
Yeah. I think this is a grinded out game. I don't think this is an all out win for the Raiders. I think it's going to be a real nail biter. But I think miracles happen this season. I have this as a W also. I think playing in the daytime is definitely going to help out. I know it's still going to be cold. It might sound like a weird, superfluous take to have, but I do think it helps. And I think that we have a much stronger running game this year. That's going to be a deep stable of backs, and I think we just really grind it out against KC.
Yeah.
I think this is where we start to really make our statement and build a ball of steam going down the stretch. So then we come back home before we finish off with 2 road games. So we come home and play the Dallas Cowboys. This is a matchup a lot of people wanted to see in last year's Super Bowl. We're going to get it here as meaningful of a regular season game as you could probably have. We'll see what Dallas does this year. We had some phenoms break out last year for them. We'll see if they can repeat or not. I don't see them being as strong this year as last year. I think the ceiling's just too high. The bar was set too high last year. I think they're going to come down a little bit. I think it's still going to be a great game, or a great team. But I have us winning this game. I like getting Dallas outside of their dome.
Right. Definitely Dallas in Oakland.
Yeah.
I like our chances there. I like what we can do against them. Obviously, we're kind of similar in the sense that our defenses ain't necessarily the strength of our team. Mm-hmm. Our strength comes from our offense, specifically our offensive line play. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be whoever can get a turnover here or give our offense an extra possession. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna take a dub on that too. I also like our matchup against Elliott. I think this is a guy that could probably get a big play on us. We do give up the big play. I think we'll see less of those this season now that the secondary's a little bit more sure tackling. We got some big bodies back there. But I think we match up well against Dallas. I think we stifle the run game. We make them a little bit more one-dimensional. We got some veterans on the corners, and we got some young rookies. I think we beat Dallas, and I think it's going to be a wow. This is going to be a real big statement game, right? Because you already know the rivalry games are going to be tough, and now we're facing off against a potential Super Bowl contender outside of our division. Exactly.
This would be a big wow game. So we play on Christmas again this year, and we go back on the road. The last game, I should have mentioned, another home game on primetime, Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys. And then we go very next week, right back on primetime, Monday Night Football, ESPN against the Philadelphia Eagles. This game's on the road. This is a tough one because Philadelphia didn't finish out strong last year, but they were really competitive.
They were. Yeah.
If you watch their games, they were in a lot of games. I thought Philly was kind of an exciting team to watch last year. I have this weird feeling there's going to be a loss for us. Mm-hmm. I really do. I don't know if it's because we're taking our foot off the brake at the end of the season. Fatigue's wearing in. You got to factor in there might be an injury here or there. Again, it's a road game. We're coming off, as we're predicting it, a streak of wins. The levy's got to break sometime. I don't really feel like the Eagles are better than we are at all.
No.
I'm predicting this as an upset, kind of like I did the Buffalo game. I just got a feeling, and I'm going to play that hunch.
I think so too. And you're looking at Philadelphia in December. Weather can play a factor as well, and we know there's a little bit of a struggle there in the cold weather.
That's true
for us.
That's true.
It's always been that way, right?
Yeah.
We've always been that team.
It's nasty out there too.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at that. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's an L for us.
And I got my fingers crossed, man, because the last time we played on Christmas, seriously, that almost ruined my Christmas. If I didn't have beautiful family around me and I didn't know what was most valuable in life,
Right.
and that's all I had. But man, I'm telling you, it almost ruined my Christmas. It was that devastating.
Very.
I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate.
Amen.
New Year's Eve, finish up the season, doing one of my favorite things is playing a road game against the Chargers, and I think their crowd of 30,000 this year is what they're going to be playing in front of, is what I've heard. I could be wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm just going to go with 30,000. What that translates to is 29,998 Raider fans, one Charger fan, and his girlfriend. Yeah?
Yeah, that's about right. That's pretty accurate.
Do we have to pick this game? Do we know where we're at on this game?
We were winning this game. Come on.
It's a W.
It's a dub.
Right? So let's go back. You have us losing 2, 3, and I had us losing 4. So 12-4, 13-3. That's your plus minus, people. That's your margin of difference right there. I'm not mad at those numbers, man.
Not either. But this is how I look at it. Last year I had us going 12-4, winning the division and getting first round bye, advantage in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't make it happen. We went 12-4. We lost the division.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the wild card and we got bounced out. Mm-hmm. This year, let's go one better and really solidify it. And let's see that Super Bowl, man.
I think it's a natural progression, right?
Yeah. Why not?
You said we went to 12-4 last year?
12-4.
Yeah.
Second in the AFC West. That's not what I predicted, but hey.
I'll take it, man. 12-4. I think we said last year 12-4 would win the division, and we weren't wrong. 12-4 won the division. It just wasn't us that won it. I think I'm not mad at your 13-3 prediction. I think that's very reasonable. I think that we had to do everything we could to keep us from going 14-2 in these predictions, 15-1. I think we were being very realistic about some of these picks, and we could be right about some and wrong about others. But I think at the end of the day, I feel good about where we're at. It's going to even out to about 12-4, 13-3. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I'll be fist pumping all the way into the stadium when we are.
There you go.
Yeah. I think that just about does it for this week. Yeah. Anything you want to add before we get up out of here?
No, man. Another fantastic show. Another great experience for me. Like I said, I'm just glad to be here, man. Talking about the Raiders, this thing I love.
And it's really great having you every week on here. And we'll be back every week. I know we had our schedule was a little bit hit or miss there for a little bit. There wasn't a whole lot of news. We kind of wanted to stay out of the Las Vegas fray, but we're back now, and we got your new boy over here. So we'll be moving forward. Anyways, I'm repeating myself. Again, that's it for this week's show, the Pillaging Podcast. You can join us, join our community at pj4f.com or pillagingjustforfun.com. You can call in, leave a message on the show every week, 408-909-PJFF. Again, that phone line is open 24/7. Feel free to call in and leave a message whenever you want. As always, Kenny Stapler, joined every week by your co-host,
your boy Chet.
and that's it. We out here. Go Raiders.
Peace.